If you're a man over 60 and you're still doing this one thing in the bathroom, you might be silently damaging your prostate every single day. It's not about your diet or how much water you drink. It's something far simpler and something most men completely overlook. After over 40 years treating men in their 60s, 70 seconds, and even 80 seconds, I can tell you this mistake is incredibly common, and the symptoms often hit hard before they realize what's happening. Waking up 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a night to urinate. Straining. That nagging feeling that you didn't completely empty. Sound familiar? Let's change that before things get worse. By the way, I'd love to know how old you are and where you're watching from. I've treated patients from all over, and it's always inspiring to see people taking charge of their health. Now, let's talk about a habit hardly anyone mentions, but almost every man over 60 is guilty of. Even my own brother used to do this until I called him out. The first bad habit is rushing the bathroom process. Most men don't even realize they're doing it. You walk into the bathroom, urinate, and leave 20 seconds, maybe less. But here's the problem. As we age, the muscles that control urination weaken. The bladder doesn't always empty completely. And when you cut things short, leftover urine remains behind. That stagnant urine irritates the bladder, builds internal pressure, and inflames the prostate over time. One of my patients, Jim, a 67-year-old former high school football coach, used to brag he never spent more than 30 seconds in the bathroom. Said he was too busy. The result? Chronic urinary retention. He eventually had to use a catheter at home because he never gave his body the extra minute it needed. So what's the fix? It's simple. When you think you're done urinating, don't leave right away. Stand there another 10 to 15 seconds. Give your bladder the chance to contract one last time. Often, you'll notice a second wave, and that's the one that truly empties you. I call this the pause that protects. This one simple change can dramatically reduce how many times you wake up at night, ease urgency, and lower pressure on the prostate. But as important as that habit is, it's nothing compared to what comes next. Let's talk about something even more damaging, something I've watched silently destroy men's prostate health for decades. It starts with something that seems harmless. The second bad habit is straining during bowel movements. It surprises most men, but the connection between your gut and prostate is much closer than you might think. The prostate sits directly next to the rectum. When you're constipated or pushing hard on the toilet, you're not just applying pressure to your bowels, you're also pressing against your prostate. Over time, this repeated strain creates tension in the pelvic floor, disrupts healthy blood flow, and increases inflammation. One man I treated, Frank, was a 72-year-old retired engineer. Brilliant mind, but every morning was a struggle for him. He'd sit on the toilet, strain, wait, and over the years, he developed prostate swelling, pain during urination, and a constant pressure sensation. No signs of cancer, no infection, just chronic inflammation made worse by years of unhealthy bathroom habits. Long-term pelvic floor tension makes the prostate hypersensitive. It starts overreacting to things like caffeine, stress, even sitting too long. So what can you do about it? First, don't delay when your body tells you it's time to go, and never force it. Straining only causes the muscles to tense up more. Try elevating your feet slightly on a small stool. This changes the angle of your hips, creating a more natural posture, similar to a squat. It reduces pressure on the prostate and makes elimination easier. Also, start your day with fiber-rich food like oatmeal with flax seeds, prunes, or psyllium husk. This not only helps digestion, but protects your entire lower pelvic system. It might seem like a small change, but over time, it prevents damage that can quietly build up for years. But as serious as that is, there's one final habit that's even more dangerous and far more common than most men realize. This one happens late at night. Sometimes it's done out of habit, sometimes it's pride, but every time you do it, you're putting your prostate under unnecessary stress. The third and worst habit is refusing to sit down to urinate at night. Yes, really. I know some men think sitting is unmanly, but if you're over 60 and still standing to pee after PM, you may be sabotaging your prostate without even knowing it. Here's why. At night, your bladder control is weaker. You're tired, maybe dehydrated, and your pelvic muscles are slower to respond. When you stand, you're more likely to rush, sway, and only partially empty your bladder. That leftover urine builds pressure just like before and inflames the prostate, especially during sleep when your body should be resting and repairing. I've had hundreds of patients come in complaining that they wake up multiple times a night to urinate, feeling drained and frustrated. One of the first things I tell them, sit down to pee at night. It's not about shame or ego. It's about your health. Within weeks, nighttime urgency drops, the flow improves, and even daytime bladder control gets better. Sitting also reduces the chance of post-urination dribbling, which lowers irritation around the urethra. It allows the pelvic floor to fully relax, something standing often doesn't permit. Think about it. You wouldn't try pouring water into a glass while jogging. Same logic applies. One of my most memorable cases was Don, a 69-year-old Vietnam vet, tough guy, proud. Took him a full year to agree to try sitting. 3 weeks later, he came back and said, "Doc, I slept through the night for the first time in 6 years." That's the power of a small, humble change. This isn't about losing your masculinity. It's about gaining back your quality of life. That one decision to sit can give your body the break it's been begging for. So if even one of these habits made you pause and think, wait, I do that, good. That's awareness. That's how real change begins. You don't need to completely overhaul your life. Just make 2 or 3 changes that stick. If you found any of this helpful, feel free to subscribe. I've got more real-world advice coming, things they don't teach in medical school, but you learn from listening to real men with real stories over 40 years. Take care of your prostate, and it'll take care of you, especially when no one's watching.